The brain difference. So here is my story. I am 49, my wife 46, been married for 23 years. Our trouble started in 2018 when I caught her lying to me about seeing another man. I do not know the extent of the relationship, but I know that they went to yoga together several times a week and shopping together, driving in the same car. She did not see that guy anymore to the best of my knowledge, after I confronted her about it. A year later in 2019 I did something stupid. I was still pondering if my wife still loved me and at some point, created a profile on an online dating site. The intent was primarily to see if I was still attractive to other women, no other intentions. I swear, I just needed a little ego boost. I met one lady from that site for dinner once, but only because she was in a similar situation, being separated from her husband etc. It was just a casual dinner, nothing fancy, nobody got dressed up and some nice conversation. Never met her again. Please keep in mind, I have no family here and nobody else to talk to. My wife apparently had been going through my browsing history and found out about this. This created a major crisis, because for one, an online profile does look bad, and also my wife to this day seems convinced that I cheated on her. We somehow worked through this, but it was hard. In 2020 we decided to spice up our marriage and physical life and invited another male into our bedroom. Big mistake. They had incredibly passionate bonding, probably partly due to him being a new guy and me being a 23-year-old model. Afterwards she said some very hurtful things to me, like sleeping with him is just so much better and she is not sure if she still wants to sleep with me because my performance and his just don't compare. After she realized how hurt I was, she stopped sleeping with him to the best of my knowledge, and we worked on improving our physical life and skills. Fast forward to yesterday. So, during a quiet moment I asked her if we are okay again. While we have a good relationship otherwise, she said that she has forgiven but not forgotten, and even if I told her now that I did not have an affair, she would not believe me. To this day, she said her family also believes I cheated on her. Two things that struck me were that obviously she still does not trust me, because it does not matter what I say in regard to my mistake. I have completely forgiven her mistakes and never brought them up again, ever. The other thing that struck me was that obviously her whole family knows. My family lives overseas, so I have no support here. During the last 3 years I had always noticed that at family parties nobody really liked talking to me, but I thought I was imagining things. But now it all makes sense. Obviously, I am quite disappointed that she has basically made me radioactive in her family because of my slip-up, but nobody knows about the things she has done. I intentionally never told my family about any of this, because families always take sides. Initially she had told me that she had only sought advice from one of her aunts. So, the questions are, will she ever trust me again? I trust her. When I asked her how our physical life is now, she said it was fine. Not exactly a glowing endorsement, even though I am always trying and she seems to orgasm every time. Would she be happier with another man? I do not want to be someone she settles for because it is comfortable. Divorce is not imminent, but in 3 years our kids will be in college, and at that point I would like some clarity going forward. There is naturally a lot more to this, but I tried to condense it as much as I could. I just wanted to clear up a few things. First of all, in 2020, it was our decision to include other people in the bedroom. We also tried with another couple, but had to stop before things got really going, because she was too jealous seeing me with another woman. I was also the first and only one she had ever been with up to that point. I would have been fine with everything that happened, but her comments afterwards shocked the hell out of me. She is actually a good person and my intention was not to make her look all bad, because I share the blame here. We have always been best friends and have a very good marriage otherwise. She told me that there was nothing romantic going on with the first guy and they were really just going to yoga together. That guy was also married. Quite frankly, I believe her, but what hurt more was that she lied about it and that she spent time with him even if they were just friends. At that time in 2018 we were also in a difficult financial spot because of the recession, and I was so disappointed that she was having fun while I am working 14 hours per day trying to save our house. We are self-employed, we have recovered financially by now and are actually leading a worry-free life. Yes, she is basically financially dependent on me. I earn 95% of our income. We also have 2 children who will be in college in 3 years. I could never separate before that because I do not want to break my kids' hearts. Some people in her family and her parents are not poor either, so it is not like she would be on the street if I am not in the picture. However, up to this day, I am constantly trying to avoid surfing websites that could be interpreted wrong. Double-check every app I am downloading for fear she might find something incriminating. I am writing all this in incognito mode because I am sure she still checks my browsing history. We are best friends and very loving with each other, but it seems she just has not gotten over things. She is otherwise a very loving mother and a good person, and in 23 years we have only fought 3 or 4 times, so I am a little hesitant to throw that all away if there is a way to reconcile. The one thing that puzzles me is that instead of yoga, now she regularly meets up with 1 or 2 older men who live a few streets down, who she walks our dogs with, because they have dogs too. Now, these are guys 20 years older than her and married, so I doubt there is any interest on her part, but I find it curious that she never befriends other women. But again, I am nitpicking here and being a little paranoid myself, but given what happened with her yoga buddy, I am shaking my head a little. What makes me hesitant is that during the last 3 years we have had a really good and harmonious marriage. No fights, bonding has been fine, and we both have been working on brushing up on our bedroom skills over the last few years, so I do see some progress. You are also hearing the story from my side, and I am sure my wife would tell the story a bit different, even though I tried to be as impartial as possible and only reported facts. I was just surprised when I asked her about how we are doing that she still does not trust me. She can check my phone and computer anytime, I have no passwords that she does not know, and we both have GPS tracking software on our phone, so we both can always check where the other one is or has been. I also do not think she would ever have a physical relationship with another man behind my back. She is just not that type of person. She apologized back then for the remarks she made and was truly sorry. The one thing I have decided is that I will not attend any more family parties, because I just end up sitting somewhere in the corner browsing my phone. It does bother me that everyone seems to see me as a cheater, but I would not know what to do about that. Other than that, does everyone here think that divorce is the only viable option? I am not afraid to go there, but I also do not want to regret something later on. I will definitely check out the No Nicer Guy book, it looks intriguing, but please understand, I am a successful man professionally and otherwise, and what most would consider an alpha male in regular life. I do not easily get pushed around, and I do love my wife. My comment: our wife was having a physical affair with Yoga Man. You rug shifted, and that made her lose further respect for you. Then you allow your wife to use the coffee date with a stranger to browbeat you. The reason she doesn't believe you is because she's a serial cheater. We're talking pure projection on her part. As for bringing another person into your bed, that is always a bad move. If you were to look at the number of threads of men who tried that and get burned, you'd be surprised. I'd bet it was her idea too. A woman wants to be treasured. In her inner hamster mind, she knows that you letting another man have her means she doesn't mean much to you. She was too jealous to allow you to get some while she was getting her fill. What a crock. This woman has detached from you since Yoga Man. I would bet money there have been other men, including the dude you served her up to, having repeat performances behind your back. As for the older guys walking their dogs being safe, you have another thing coming. Women are attracted to older, confident men who have their crap together. To these men, your wife being 20 years younger looks like a goddess. Now tell yourself how a detached wife with a weak husband at home is going to react to older men who will thirst for her. OP responds, please don't get me wrong, I am old enough to know that life is full of surprises and disappointments, but I am also the kind of guy who likes to think about things and act rationally instead of giving into anger. After all, I am also responsible for 2 wonderful children, who have absolutely nothing to do with this and for whom I would give my life. My next question would be, is there any way to find out if she truly loves me or is just using me? What exactly should she do in order to smooth things over with her family? Unless she is technologically much savvier than me, I have a hard time seeing how she could have cheated in the last 3 years. I did check her phone, messages, browsing history, calls made, received, emails a while back. As far as I could see, there was nothing suspicious. And we do have GPS trackers on both our phones, nothing there either. Am I missing something that I did not check? I have searched high and low but have not found any evidence of her currently cheating. Even her GPS data checks out fine, and she always answers her phone when I contact her. Quite frankly, it does not feel right going through her stuff, but I understand the purpose. I am just a person who is uncomfortable snooping around. Or whatever, none of this is made up. No reason for me to lie, I am just seeking opinions and advice from others. We have not gotten counseling yet. I told her yesterday that I would not be attending any more family events on her side of the family, because I am just not comfortable with everyone knowing and seeing me as the bad guy. While I admit that I did something terribly wrong, I also think that my wife is at least equally to blame. However, everyone just knows her side of the story, and in my experience, it is only natural for families to support their own anyways. Naturally, this announcement made her quite upset, which I expected, but she also understands that it was her who told everyone. However, at the moment she has no idea to fix the issue with her family, and I certainly do not want to give her my opinion about that, because it is her family and her mistake to tell them. Ultimately, if she asked me sincerely, I would probably attend family gatherings just for her sake, because I love her, but my preference would still be for her to work something out that gives me at least a bit of dignity back. I also asked her to search her feelings about why she still does not believe me. She then said that she believes me now, but to me it just kind of sounded like a save of face, because it is a complete reversal from what she told me a few days ago, when she still thought everything was fine. In a way, I regret a little bringing it up, because we both seem to be doing fine. But it was just a shock for me to learn that everyone knew, and I would really like to work through all feelings so nothing is lingering and coming back to haunt us in the future. Regardless, I love her very much, and she told me that she loves me, and we both seem to want to work on our relationship, because there is just too much good to throw it all away. But I also want her to work through those feelings of mistrust, so we can both go back to a healthy relationship, where neither has to look over their shoulder constantly. We only met the guy twice at a hotel, never outside of that. We had also set up a date with another couple, but that did not go any further than kissing, because she could not handle seeing me with another woman. Never discussed meeting with just a woman after that because it seemed pointless. My idea is actually that she could send an email to everyone explaining how we both share the blame and her behavior has not been any better and that it would be wrong to just hold this against me. I don't see the point in getting into details. Her family is very Catholic, and if she were to mention our swinging activities, we could both just move out of the country as well, something along those lines. We will see if she comes up with something like that or if she will just accept me being absent from parties. The first option would definitely be the more mature way to deal with this. Comment: there are jellyfish floating around in the ocean with more spine than you have. You are about to repeat the cycle, and you will do it again and again until you actually stand up for yourself and stop being a doormat. She will be better at covering her tracks each time, and you will be either completely clueless with your head in the sand or you will drive yourself insane with suspicion and resentment. Staying in a marriage where your wife cheats on you twice and still gets to call all the shots while you kowtow to her is going to completely screw your poor children up in regard to dealing with future relationships and their character, far more than having two happy separated parents, of which hopefully you would be the good stable one. Sadly, using your children as an excuse is pathetically spineless, but you're in good company. Plenty use that excuse to reconcile, but very few actually can make it stick without driving themselves crazy with resentment or having their wayward spouse continue their behavior. Good luck, I hope you are one of the very few. OP responds: this is getting a bit out of hand. There are 2 kids involved here too, and if you are a heartless and selfish guy then that is your problem. I for my part look at a wife with obvious flaws who has messed up twice in 27 years of being together and who is a wonderful mom. I will always try to fix it first before deciding to throw it all away. At the very least then I can always tell myself that I tried and gave it my best instead of taking the easy way out and divorce without regard for 2 innocent and wonderful kids. This is what having a spine is all about. So far, she has not thought of that and I have not suggested it, because my feeling is that she messed this up and she should come up with a solution without my help. Yesterday she was in tears when we talked about the whole situation and renewed our commitment to each other. Mind you, the last 3 years have been really good for both of us. I am just surprised so far that she has not thought of sending an email yet. It seems such an easy thing to do in order to set the record straight. I think she was hoping last night that I would be willing to compromise somewhere and come to maybe important holidays. Apart from that, when we talked, I got the impression that there is a little resentment, because she said she feels like she is never good enough, because she is just a housewife and I am a successful businessman. I told her that in my view her work and raising the children is at least as important as my work. My comment: the first mistake a lot of people make is thinking about the kids over themselves in the marriage. How can you take care of kids when your personal needs are not met? Story 2. My wife and I have been married 13 years and have 2 kids. Recently I figured out and confronted her about an emotional affair she was having with a business partner. I know they met in the fall of 2016. Best I can figure by old texts and voicemails is that it turned into an emotional affair around Christmas and continued until March, and that is just a guess. Lots of I love you back and forth and that sort of stuff. She swears that nothing physical happened. As a guy, I can't comprehend that kind of dialogue with nothing physical. Right now, I'm lost on whether continuing to support her business and the interaction required, out-of-town trips and so on. We have always had an upfront, totally honest, no game-playing marriage. Her character has been beyond reproach until recently, which has really been the hardest part. Am I being naive to let this continue with the promise of it's over? Am I being a fool to think that nothing physical occurred? I plan on meeting him soon, while traveling with my wife, with a keep your friends close and you enemies closer strategy. My wife says she wants to stay married and is so sorry about hurting me. I believe her, but I can't shake the doubt in the back of my head. Do I continue to question her and keep bringing it up? I mean, how many times do I have to ask the same question? It's like I can't be satisfied until I confirm that the worst case scenario is the one I'm dealing with. I've been restoring her backups to monitor. I am already keeping a journal with all the stuff I've found. My plan forward is to keep a low profile and shower her with love and weekend getaways. Also, when the next out-of-town trip comes up, I'm going to insist going to meet her business partner to show no hard feelings. By gauging reactions, I should be able to make my own assessment. Physical life has always been good. We are going on a month dry spell, which is a new record. She has been ill for about half that time with a bad upper respiratory infection. She is not with during work. Only when traveling out of state does she see him. No late nights and no work on the weekends. No lingerie. I literally have no one to talk to about this. Should I seek out a counselor or something? We've been in a romantic rut for a while. I thought everything was fine. Just a downswing in romance that comes with 13 years. I am going to demand and see. If refused, then lawyer will be called. Next trip is in 2 weeks. I plan on going. She doesn't know yet. What is the consensus on just calling out of the blue and ask him if he is screwing my wife? He does not have a wife. What about pumping her friend for information? I have leverage on her in that I know that she had a brief affair several months ago. I'm pissed now and ready to take down anyone that had knowledge of this. I just found the most condemning evidence yet. Do I confront over the phone or wait until the ride home from airport tomorrow? At this point, I don't care. E or P 3 emails all within this month professing love. Last email was a wedding package inquiry from some fancy inn. They were all from him. I'm giving her one change to NC his ass, then I'm done. I can't take this. When do I send it to her family and let them know what is going on? Do I at least give her the chance to commit to a NC with OM? She knows I suspect, but I think she is under the impression that I have forgiven her because it was just a mistake. Ia and they both agreed it was over. Obviously, that is not the case. He has no family. Friends are all cops, so they are probably high-fiving. Only advantage I have is info, the kids, and the fact we are 11 hours away and don't have any money. She isn't allowed to take the kids out of state without my permission, is she? She missed flight. I had a conversation that went something like this. Me, tell me what is really going on because I know it is something more serious than you are letting on. After X number of years I know these things. Her, I don't want to do this over the phone. Me, well I need to know what the deal is. I can't wait another 8 hours until next flight. Her, what do you want me to tell you that I haven't already? Me, I know he wants to marry you. I know he wants to spend his life with you. Where are you at? Are you on board with the fancy wedding packages? Her, what are you talking about? If I were you I wouldn't want to be looking at that stuff. Me, if roles were reversed what would you be doing? Her, I'd probably ask for a separation. Me, not going to happen. Me, I just need to know where you are. I'm not emotional about any of this right now, I just need some good answers. I don't want to do this over the phone either, but I can't function right now, so I have to get it out. Just get ready to discuss further face to face tonight. I'm saving the NC or D for this evening. My point was to make her sweat and ruin what time they had left. Since then, I've noticed some password changes. Should I hack back in and take control of those or just wait until some more traffic goes through? I don't think that makes a difference, and yes, I realize that now. I still think she is having a tough time with the whole thing. She is not an evil conniving bee. That's not saying I have any sympathy at this point. I know he is ready to commit to her, but we still have 2 kids that I would find hard to believe she is ready to put them through that. I may be naive on this point as well, but I have to have faith she still has a little heart for something with so much to lose. My goal is NC and snap her out of this fog. So, this exposure letter goes to anyone and everyone we know. It reads something like this. WS and AP have opted to start and continue an extramarital affair. I have given her the option to cut ties and come back home to her family. She has chosen her AP. Needless to say, this is a sad time in my life and her 2 children. Please pray for us in this time of hardship. Also, what do you tell the kids? I'm thinking the truth and nothing but the truth. Mommy chose to live with another man. The road ahead is tough, just know I love you. I'm prepping the letter now. You don't think I should let her make the NC choice? That seems more logical. Once her mind is made up, I press send. She will underestimate me on this. Her family is already assuming bad behavior on her part due to these trips. Here is the exposure email. It saddens me to inform everyone that my wife name has been carrying on an inappropriate relationship with AP of City, State, for several months. Upon discovering of the affair, I have made numerous attempts to turn the marriage around, but I am not having much success. She has made the decision to see him as she pleases. If you support my marriage and the 2 children who will be devastated, you may reach her at phone number. Please pray for us. I have a list of contacts from the emails and his workplace website. I will add his phone number. I have read the sticky. It helped a lot. Her calmness during this waiting period is disturbing. I also read the let them go thread. I totally agree with it and plan on using the tips in there. No begging, kindness and smiles. She is with him now for sure. She called me, but I can't make small talk with her. The only thing I want to talk about is the one thing she wants to discuss over the phone, especially in the same car with him. Whether it is the money or comfort or whatever, I don't care now. I'm in such disbelief we are at this stage. I've been doing fine all day, focused on getting my ducks in a row. That one phone call, her nonchalant way of talking when our marriage is crumbling, and the thought that she has made up her mind but won't tell me is making me crazy. It's set up to click and send at this point. I just want to wrap up the discussion tonight. Based on the outcome, I will press send or not. I don't want the talk to be about anything else than the topic at hand. I know if I send it will muddy the waters of our discussion. Am I a fool for playing it this way? The last thing I wanted was to make a hasty decision that I would later regret. When I finally met my wife at the airport, my heart was pounding. I had rehearsed the conversation in my mind countless times, but now that it was actually happening, I felt unprepared. We greeted each other with forced smiles and awkward hugs before heading home. As we settled into the living room, I took a deep breath and asked her directly about the emotional affair. I could see the shock and panic in her eyes, but she couldn't deny it any longer. She admitted to the relationship with her business partner and, after a long pause, confessed that it had become physical. My heart sank at the confirmation of my worst fears. I tried to remain calm, but my voice shook as I demanded that she choose between me and her affair partner. Her hesitation was all the answer I needed. My world crumbled around me as I realized that our marriage was truly over. I knew I couldn't continue to live with her, knowing what she had done. After several days of tense discussions and painful arguments, I finally made the decision to kick her out of our home. It was a heart-wrenching process as we divided our belongings and discussed custody arrangements for our children. I couldn't help but feel a profound sense of loss as I watched her pack her bags and walk out the door, leaving behind 13 years of memories. The months following her departure were excruciating. My emotions were a roller coaster of anger, sadness, and betrayal. I sought the help of a therapist to navigate the complexities of divorce and the overwhelming feelings that came with it. As we proceeded with the legal aspects of our divorce, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. The more distance I put between myself and the painful memories of our marriage, the more I was able to focus on healing and moving forward. I also discovered a newfound sense of strength and resilience within myself. I had survived the most challenging experience of my life, and despite the pain and heartache, I was determined to rebuild my life and provide a stable, loving environment for my children. The divorce was finalized after several grueling months. I was now a single father, trying to navigate the complexities of co-parenting and rebuilding my life without my wife by my side. I continued to attend therapy and joined a support group for divorced men, which provided me with a sense of camaraderie and understanding that I desperately needed. As time went on, I slowly began to heal and find joy in life again. My relationship with my children grew stronger as I made a conscious effort to be present and emotionally available for them. We created new routines and traditions, fostering a sense of stability and security in our new family dynamic. While the pain of the divorce never truly disappeared, I learned to accept and move past it. I began to rebuild my life, rediscovering hobbies and interests I had long since forgotten. I even started dating again, cautiously optimistic about the prospect of finding love once more. In the end, the heartache of my marriage demise ultimately led me to a deeper understanding of myself and what I wanted in a partner. I emerged from the experience stronger, wiser, and more determined to create a fulfilling life for myself and my children. My comment: the first year is going to suck, but moving on, things should stabilize and you can figure out your next steps.